And by this point in the game, Heather is finding notes all over the place, which serve to backfill as many unanswered questions as possible before the game's final boss battle, which is coming up very soon. Heather finds some notes which attempt to explain the significance of the halo of the sun. The information about this symbol is rather hastily arranged and full of factual errors. The goetic circle is compared to heraldry in this book, as it's claimed to represent a religious group. This, of course, is completely incorrect, as heraldic banners are primarily of military significance and are not religious. The halo of the sun is most definitely modeled after a goetic circle of demonic evocation and really has nothing at all to do with heraldry. So, I mean, again, we're seeing more examples, especially towards the end of the game, that Team Silent is cutting corners and rushing things along. Not their fault, of course. It was Konami decided in their infinite wisdom to to make this game a rail shooter, but thankfully they changed course, and Team Silent did the best with what they had. Now, Heather enters a chamber which appears to have been used for sacrificial ceremonies of some sort. The presentation of this room is quite good, but I can tell that Team Silent must have been in a hurry to complete the game at this point, as there seem to be more and more sloppy mistakes which are largely inconsistent with the series up to this point. Having just learned a little more about the halo of the sun, Heather inspects the room where she finds 3 paintings on the wall. To Heather's left is Saint Jennifer. Considered a martyr and a founding member of the order by being burned at the stake for witchcraft in the 17th century, Saint Jennifer is commemorated in the halo of the sun as representing the past, or the patron saint of the order. In comparison to the Holy Trinity, you could say Saint Jennifer is analogous to the Father. The second painting in the center of the room is of Saint Alessa, Mother of God, Daughter of God. This painting is between the other two, so it represents, of course, the present, since Heather's time is now, and Heather is Alessa. And we can easily confirm this to be the case. In terms of the Holy Trinity, Saint Alessa quite obviously represents the Holy Spirit. And Saint Nicholas of Myra, of whom little is known about, is a man whom legends and even a popular Western holiday have been built around, was known as the patron saint of children. It has often been recounted that his good deeds for others were mysteriously done in threes. One thing about St. Nicholas is that he was considered a rogue by some and a hero by others, depending upon who was in power at the time. It's not exactly clear to me why St. Nicholas was placed here, as he doesn't seem to be mentioned anywhere else in the game, but he seems to represent the future in terms of sacrifice and giving to future generations of the flock. So, okay. In the center of the chamber is the halo of the sun. However, the symbol here appears to be upside down, or perhaps is a mirror image in orientation with the paintings, which seem to represent past, present, and future, among other things. Instead of looking for ways to explain this sloppy arrangement as something meaningful, I think it's just another example of the limited time and resources Team Silent had, especially toward the end of the game's development. In the library, Heather finds the Moon Tarot card, which triggers this cutscene. As Vincent appears, he explains to Heather that he is really on her side, like one of those cringeworthy accident lawyer TV commercials. She tells Heather that it's not uncommon for people who worship the same God to disagree. To which Heather snaps back, "Are you sure you don't mean the devil?" Vincent's response to this question is very interesting. He responds by saying, "Whichever you like." It seems that Vincent is too concerned with himself and is not a true believer. Otherwise, Heather's statement would have most certainly have provoked a more passionate response. Even more disturbing, however, is Vincent's reaction to what Heather refers to as the monsters she snuffed out during her time in Silent Hill. Vincent makes a plea to Heather's lower nature and is pleasantly surprised to discover that she has been quite convincingly duped by this long drawn-out cult ritual to such a degree that she seems to be hallucinating as well. This is one of the best fake-outs in the entire story. Confusion and ambiguity are the name of the game when trying to ramp up the fear. Nothing is more shocking than when the protagonist realizes that their personal interpretation of reality may be completely different than what they thought was really happening. Is Heather in control at all, or is she just merely a sheep being led down the dark path of ritual slaughter? Vincent asks Heather about the seal of Metatron that Leonard Wolf had in his possession. Vincent appears quite relieved as Heather produces the object. It seems there may be a connection between the seal and the importance Vincent places upon it. This infers that in his view, he may be of the sectarian view that Valtiel is the most important deity in the pantheon of the order and not the god who is yet to be born. Not only is Heather being manipulated by both Claudia and Vincent, but it seems she may be caught in the middle of a war between two factions of the order.